This video shares Buddhist lessons that help us live freely, unaffected by others' opinions, unafraid of rejection, and find inner peace. These lessons encourage us to focus on ourselves, not depend on the acceptance or criticism of others, and learn to live with ease in any situation. Hello everyone, thank you for joining today's video. Today, we will explore a very important and meaningful topic in life. Focus on your life, not others. This is a profound lesson that Buddhism has taught for thousands of years, and it remains just as relevant today. In the modern world, where everyone faces countless pressures from work, family, society, and the relationships around them, maintaining inner peace and focusing on oneself is not easy. However, if you truly want to live freely, happily, and fulfilled, you need to understand and apply these principles to your life. Imagine if you had the key to absolute freedom. This key would help you no longer worry about what others think of you, and no longer fear facing rejection or criticism. You would live a life that is not controlled by anyone or anything, not bound by others' expectations. A life where you no longer have to strive to please everyone, and more importantly, you can feel peace within your own soul, despite the chaos around you. However, in this busy and noisy world, it is difficult to maintain peace and freedom for yourself. The world out there is filled with loud noises, conflicting opinions, and advice from others. Everyone has their own perspective, ideas, and expectations, and sometimes, these can make us feel confused, tired, and lost. This is not easy, but Buddhism teaches us how to master our lives, control our thoughts and emotions, and from there, achieve true freedom. The first lesson Buddhism offers us is, focus on yourself. Instead of chasing after others' criticisms or judgments, we need to turn inward, explore, and develop ourselves. If you always live for the expectations of others, you will always feel tired and never achieve full satisfaction. Only when you realize that true happiness comes from self-acceptance, can you achieve peace in life. You can imagine that every time you feel tired from chasing others' expectations and judgments, you will stop and ask yourself, am I living my own life? Am I doing what I truly love and desire? This does not mean living selfishly or neglecting important relationships in life, but learning to place yourself at the center and develop self-confidence and peace from within. Buddhism encourages us to find peace from within ourselves, not from the outside. Happiness comes from within, do not seek it outside, is the teaching of the Buddha. These words are not just a saying, but a way of life. We do not need others' acceptance or judgment to feel happy. True happiness is the feeling when you accept yourself, love yourself, and are not dependent on external factors. So how can we apply these lessons in life? How can we live freely and peacefully as the Buddha taught? The answer lies in focusing on yourself, developing self-control, and creating a quiet space in your soul so you can hear your own voice. When you live in inner peace, you will no longer worry about what others think, and you will no longer fear rejection or criticism. You will live a free, peaceful life, and most importantly, you will always feel content with what you have. Buddhism also teaches us that each person has their own path to walk. You do not need to compare yourself to others or live according to the standards set by society. Find your own path, live by your own values, and enjoy every moment of that journey. When you focus on yourself, you will gain a deeper understanding of life, of what you want, and of what truly brings you happiness. Life is not always easy, but if you know how to focus on yourself and master your emotions, you will overcome any difficulty. Every challenge is an opportunity for you to grow and become more mature. We will explore the valuable lessons from Buddhism that will help you live freely, unaffected by others' criticisms, and find peace within your soul. Remember, This life is yours, and you are the one who masters your destiny. All you need to do is turn inward, seek peace from within, and walk the path you choose. True happiness and freedom can only be achieved when you live with yourself, unaffected by what others think or expect. Next, we will listen to understand the deeper lessons of Buddhism that help us live freely, unaffected by others' opinions, without fearing rejection, and finding inner peace. Lesson 1. Do not rely on others to find happiness. The Buddha taught, happiness comes from within, do not seek it outside. This is one of the profound yet simple teachings that is incredibly important in life. It offers us a different perspective on happiness. It is not something we go looking for from the outside, but something we create from within ourselves. Exploring happiness in Buddhism. Happiness, according to Buddhism, is not about accumulating material wealth or receiving recognition or praise from others. It comes from peace within the soul, from understanding and accepting oneself, from living a life aligned with the values and path we have chosen. In today's modern society, we are often caught up in a race to find fulfillment from external factors, money, fame, and the recognition of others. We seek praise and encouragement from family, friends, colleagues, or even strangers on social media. However, when we become too dependent on these external factors, we can easily lose inner peace and feel empty, dissatisfied with ourselves. Buddhism teaches us that true happiness can only come when we realize that we ourselves are the source of happiness. That is why in Buddhism, self-sufficiency and self-mastery are essential qualities that each person must develop. When you learn to find happiness within yourself, you will no longer depend on anyone or anything to feel happy. Dependence on others and its consequences. One of the reasons we don't find happiness is that we constantly seek recognition and praise from others. We work hard, sometimes sacrificing ourselves, just to gain approval from society, family, or friends. But when we live to please others, we are putting ourselves in an endless cycle with no end in sight. Every time we receive praise or recognition, we feel happy, but this feeling is short-lived. When there is no praise or approval, we feel empty and uneasy. We become dependent on others to maintain our happiness, and this is the source of instability in life. When no one praises us, we feel lost, like a failure, or deprived. The Buddha taught that seeking happiness through the approval of others is a form of attachment. Attachment is clinging to external things, and when these things change or no longer exist, we will suffer. It's like putting ourselves in a boat with no shore, constantly trying to steer it according to the direction others tell us, not realizing that this boat will never bring us to a stable place. Self-acceptance, the key to happiness. So, how can we find true happiness? The answer is self-acceptance. When you learn to love and accept yourself, you will no longer rely on others' approval. You will understand that your value is not defined by others, you are the one who determines your own worth. Think of a person you truly admire, someone who seems genuinely happy and fulfilled. They could be a leader, an artist, or even an ordinary person living in a small community. You will see that these people do not seek recognition or praise from anyone. They live true to themselves, following their passions and their own values, and thus, they experience real happiness. They don't need to prove their worth to others, they just live in a way that feels right to them. Buddhism encourages us to seek inner peace, not from society's or family's recognition, but from within. You don't need to change to please others, you just need to be yourself and live a life that is true to what you believe. When you learn self-acceptance, you will realize that everything external is just an accessory, not a condition for happiness. How to create happiness from within. To create happiness, you need to learn to live in the present, letting go of worries about the future and past. The Buddha taught, do not dwell on the past, do not think about the future, focus on the present moment. When you fully live in each moment, life becomes lighter, and you will easily realize that happiness is always present in the simplest things. One way to develop happiness from within is by focusing on gratitude. Take time to notice the good things in your life, no matter how small. It could be a beautiful morning, a favorite cup of coffee, an interesting conversation with friends, or simply a quiet moment alone. When you learn to appreciate these simple things, you will realize that happiness does not need to come from grand things or the approval of others. Moreover, developing compassion and loving yourself is also crucial. When facing challenges in life, remember that you deserve to be loved and cared for. Don't be too harsh on yourself, don't hurt yourself because of mistakes or failures. Learn to forgive yourself and keep moving forward. Conclusion of this lesson. Self-acceptance and finding happiness from within is a long and challenging journey, but it is the only path to true peace and happiness. When you stop seeking approval from others and start loving yourself, you will no longer feel anxious or uneasy about what others think. You will live a free life, unaffected by the external world, and more importantly, you will feel happy because you know that happiness comes from within you. Remember, happiness is a choice. You don't need to chase others' expectations to feel complete. You can find happiness within yourself, in the simple things, in each present moment. And when you do this, you will become truly free, living a life that no one can control or influence. True happiness is not about seeking it elsewhere, but feeling it right in your own heart. Lesson 2. Don't be afraid of being alone. In life, we sometimes feel afraid when we have to be alone. The feeling of loneliness and the absence of someone by our side often make us confused and uncomfortable. However, in Buddhism, loneliness is not something to fear. On the contrary, it is an opportunity for us to grow, understand ourselves better, and find inner strength. Let's explore why we don't need to fear being alone, but instead, we can learn many valuable lessons from loneliness. Loneliness, a natural part of life. First, we need to understand that loneliness is a natural part of everyone's life. No one can avoid feeling lonely at least once in their lifetime. Whether you are famous or ordinary, have a family or live alone, you will sometimes face the feeling of loneliness. This feeling may arise when you don't have anyone to share with, or when you feel left out of social relationships. But instead of viewing loneliness as something negative, we should see it as an opportunity to learn and grow. Buddha teaches that when you are alone, you can look within to understand yourself. Loneliness is not a void you need to avoid, but a precious time for you to connect with yourself, explore your deep thoughts and emotions, and thereby enrich your inner life. Loneliness in Buddhism. Buddhism encourages us to seek peace in solitude. While modern society often teaches us that loneliness is undesirable, a sign of failure or deficiency, Buddhism sees it differently. Buddhism believes that in loneliness, you can find quietness, a space where you can gain clearer insight into life, what is truly important, and especially, into yourself. Buddha teaches, practice meditation, live simply, keep silence, and work with maturity. These teachings help us understand that loneliness is not a time to be forgotten, but a time to master oneself, to find peace in the soul. When you are alone, you can easily focus on what is most important in your life, which is to reflect on your mind and reassess the path you are walking. Loneliness as an opportunity to understand yourself. One of the most important things that loneliness can offer us is the opportunity to understand ourselves better. When there is no one around to disturb you, no distractions from work or relationships, you can take the time to ask yourself important questions. What do you really want in life? What path are you on? Are you happy? These questions will provide valuable answers about yourself, and from there, you can adjust your life to be more aligned with your true desires. Loneliness is a time for you to listen to yourself, to recognize what you truly want in life. When you live with others, sometimes you are easily influenced by their thoughts and emotions, and you don't have the opportunity to think about yourself. But when you are alone, you can freely think, freely feel, and thereby discover things you have never realized before. The importance of learning to live with yourself. Living alone does not mean you must feel lonely or deprived. In fact, learning how to live alone is one of the most important skills to help you grow and achieve inner freedom. Buddha teaches, you must learn to be friends with yourself. This means that you need to learn how to love, take care of, and respect yourself, even when there is no one around to do so. When you learn to live alone, you will realize that you don't need others to feel whole. Fulfillment comes from within, from self-acceptance and self-love. You will feel free and peaceful when you no longer depend on others to feel happy. This does not mean that you don't need relationships or support from others, but it means you must learn to love and take care of yourself first, so that you can live a free and fulfilling life. Loneliness helps us develop self-control. When you are alone, you will learn how to face challenges and difficulties in life by yourself. Without anyone by your side to help, you will have to find ways to solve problems and overcome difficulties on your own. This is one of the best ways to develop self-control and inner strength. Buddha teaches, when you master yourself, you will master everything. Learning to face loneliness will help you build self-confidence and the ability to make decisions in life. You will learn to trust your own abilities, not depend on others to overcome challenges. This self-control will not only help you overcome difficulties, but also make you stronger and more independent in any situation. Loneliness, a time to connect with the spirit. When you are alone, it is also a wonderful time to connect with your spirit, with deeper values in life. Buddhism encourages us to spend time meditating, to be still, and to find peace in the soul. Meditation helps us focus on the present, let go of worries and insecurities, and from there, find tranquility in the mind. Loneliness is not a time when we feel empty, but a time when we can listen to and deeply feel life. When there are no more noisy distractions from the outside world, you will realize that true peace and happiness come from within your soul. Conclusion from this lesson. Loneliness is an inseparable part of everyone's life. However, instead of fearing and avoiding it, we need to learn how to embrace it and use it as an opportunity to grow. Buddha teaches that loneliness is a time when you can master yourself, find peace in your soul, and build inner strength. Use your time alone to understand yourself, connect with deeper values in life, and build a free, fulfilled, and happy life. Remember, in loneliness, you are not alone. You are having a valuable encounter with yourself, where you can find everything you need to live a complete life. Lesson 3. Stop seeking acceptance from everyone. In today's modern world, we live in a society where recognition, praise, and acceptance from others have become an important aspect of each individual's life. We want to be loved, recognized, and feel valuable in the eyes of others. However, this can easily lead to us living for the satisfaction of others, rather than living for ourselves. Buddha teaches that if you are always seeking acceptance from everyone, you will lose yourself. True happiness does not come from external recognition, but from self-acceptance and self-love. 1. The acceptance of others. Is it really important? Surely, everyone has experienced the desire for recognition from others at some point in life. You want your family, friends, colleagues, and society to recognize your value. When you do a good job, you expect to receive praise and acknowledgement from those around you. However, the problem arises when you place too much hope in the recognition from others. You will begin to feel lacking when you don't receive the praise or attention that you expect. Buddhism teaches that we should not seek validation from others to feel happiness or value. All of our worth begins from within, from self-acceptance. If you are always seeking acceptance from others, you will live a life without freedom and growth. You will become a slave to the expectations of others and lose your true essence. 2. Seeking acceptance from others is a form of attachment. Buddhism teaches that one of the main causes of suffering is attachment, which means clinging to things outside of our control. Seeking acceptance from others is a form of attachment. When you desperately desire recognition from others, you place your entire value on things outside of your control. You will feel sad, disappointed, or even blame yourself when you don't receive the acknowledgement you hoped for. Clinging to the acceptance from others will cause you to live in anxiety and unhappiness. If you are not praised, you will feel like a failure. If you don't receive attention, you will feel worthless. At that point, you have lost your self-control and no longer have the ability to live a free life. Buddha teaches that to liberate ourselves from this suffering, we need to learn to let go and not attach ourselves to external things. We need to learn to recognize our value from within, through self-acceptance and self-love. When you do this, you will no longer need the approval of others to feel happy. 3. Self-acceptance is the key to living freely. Self-acceptance means acknowledging all of your strengths and weaknesses without judgment or self-doubt. You don't need to be perfect in the eyes of others. You don't have to do everything according to society's or others' standards. The important thing is to be yourself and love yourself without needing the acceptance of others. Buddha teaches, you, like everyone in the universe, are responsible for your own happiness. This means that your happiness does not depend on whether others like you or not. True happiness comes from self-acceptance, self-love, and living by the values you believe in. When you learn to love yourself, you will no longer suffer when you don't receive recognition from others. 4. External recognition is short-term and easily changeable. One of the reasons why we shouldn't seek acceptance from others is because this recognition only lasts for a short time and is easily changeable. You may receive praise from others today, but will it last forever? And when you no longer receive that recognition, how will you feel? Those compliments, though they may make you feel happy for a moment, cannot bring lasting happiness. True happiness does not come from external things, but from inner peace, from understanding and loving yourself. Buddha teaches that if we live only to seek recognition from others, we will always live in anxiety and insecurity. We cannot control the judgments of others, so seeking their acceptance will only lead to disappointment and suffering. We need to learn to seek recognition from ourselves, and only then can we achieve true freedom and happiness. 5. Self-acceptance helps you live true to your nature. When you stop seeking acceptance from others, you will have the opportunity to live true to your nature. You will not have to change yourself to please others. You will live a life unbound by the standards of society or anyone else. You will become someone who is truly free, living according to your own values and passions. Buddha teaches, live true to yourself, don't try to live to please others. This means you need to live by the values you believe in, without being influenced by others' expectations. When you do this, you will find freedom and peace in your soul. 6. How to practice self-acceptance and live without seeking acceptance from others. To practice self-acceptance, you need to work with yourself every day. First, start by acknowledging your strengths and weaknesses. You don't have to be perfect, and no one is perfect. Accepting that you have flaws will help reduce anxiety and make it easier to face challenges in life. Next, learn to love yourself. This does not mean being arrogant or complacent, but treating yourself with respect and compassion. Face your mistakes with tolerance, instead of harshly criticizing yourself. This will help you feel more comfortable and happier with who you are. Finally, learn to let go of the expectation of receiving recognition from others. This doesn't mean you don't care about others, but rather you don't let their acknowledgement determine your value. Live freely, do what you love and believe in, without worrying about what others think of you. Conclusion from this lesson. We live in a society where acceptance from others seems to be an important factor in determining our value. However, Buddha teaches that true happiness does not come from the acceptance of others, but from self-acceptance and self-love. When you stop seeking external recognition, you will find freedom and peace in your soul. You will live an authentic life, not bound by others' expectations, and most importantly, you will feel happy because you know that your value does not depend on the acceptance of others. Lesson 4. Don't let rejection defeat you. Rejection is an inevitable part of life. Each of us, whether ordinary or successful, whether just starting out or having come a long way, will face rejection at some point. Rejection can come from many directions: work, relationships, family, friends, or even from ourselves. However, instead of seeing rejection as a sign of failure or inadequacy, we need to learn to accept it as an opportunity to grow and mature. Buddhism teaches us to view rejection differently, not as a failure, but as a step forward on the journey of life. 1. Rejection, a part of life. Rejection is something almost everyone faces at least once in their life. We may face rejection at work when we don't get the position we desire, or in relationships when love is unreciprocated. We may also be rejected by family when the expectations of our parents or loved ones aren't met. These moments of rejection can cause pain, disappointment, and a loss of self-confidence. However, instead of letting rejection bring us down, we need to see it as an essential part of our personal growth journey. Buddha teaches that everything in life is impermanent, and nothing lasts forever. Rejection is no different. It is not the end but rather a change, a transition in the journey of each individual's life. When you face rejection, it's not something to fear or suffer from, but rather an opportunity to reflect on yourself, to learn, and to continue moving forward. 2. Don't let rejection define your worth. One of the reasons we feel pain when rejected is that we let rejection define our worth. We feel that if we are not accepted, loved, or successful, then we are failures. However, Buddhism teaches that our value is not dependent on the acceptance or rejection of others. Your worth comes from within, from how you perceive and treat yourself. Rejection is not a judgment of who you are, but a reflection of external factors beyond your control. Sometimes, rejection arises from incompatibility, differing perspectives, or simply bad luck. The important thing is not to let rejection alter how you feel about your worth. You are still a person of value, even if someone does not accept or reject you. 3. Rejection is an opportunity to grow and learn. Buddha teaches that every challenge in life has great value, as it helps us grow and become stronger. Rejection is no different. It is not something to fear but rather an opportunity to learn and develop. When you are rejected, it is a time to reflect on yourself, evaluate the efforts and decisions you have made, and figure out ways to improve and do better next time. We often feel like failures when we don't achieve what we desire. However, if we see rejection as an opportunity to improve ourselves, we will no longer feel hurt or defeated. For example, at work, when you don't get hired by a company or offered a certain position, instead of feeling disappointed, you can see it as an opportunity to learn new skills, preparing yourself better for future opportunities. Similarly, in love, if you face rejection, you can learn valuable lessons on how to handle emotions, understand others, and improve your relationships. Buddha teaches that we cannot control everything in life, but we can control how we react to situations. When you view rejection as part of the learning and growth process, you will no longer feel sorrowful. Instead, you will feel stronger and ready to face the next challenges. 4. Rejection is a step closer to your goal. When we are rejected, we often tend to see it as a sign of failure. However, in reality, rejection can be a step closer to your goal. Buddha teaches that everything in life happens for a reason. A single rejection does not mean you are incapable, but rather that it is preparing you for a better opportunity ahead. If you view rejection as a stepping stone, you will realize that each rejection is an opportunity to learn more, improve yourself, and gain valuable lessons that bring you closer to your goal. Successful people in life have all faced many failures and rejections. But it is those rejections that have helped them learn and become stronger, ultimately leading to great success. Buddha teaches that every challenge, every hardship, is an opportunity for us to develop our intellect and soul. Rejection is not the end, but part of the process of learning and progressing. When you stop seeing rejection as failure, you will find that each rejection is a step closer to real success. 5. How to view rejection from a Buddhist perspective. Buddhism encourages us to view all events in life with impartiality and equanimity. Buddha taught, in the end, there are only 3 important things: how much you love, how lightly you live, and how gracefully you let go of what is unnecessary. Rejection is one of those things we need to learn to let go of. When faced with rejection, instead of feeling tense, anxious, or angry, you can learn to view it calmly. Rejection is not betrayal or failure, but simply a change in life. When you can see rejection as a natural part of life, you will no longer feel pain or anger. You will learn to let go of negative emotions and allow them to pass, making room for new opportunities. Buddha teaches that we must accept what is happening in life without resistance. When you can let go of what cannot be changed, you will feel peace and freedom in your soul. Rejection is just a small part of the larger journey of life, and when you learn to accept it, you will feel lighter and able to move forward. Conclusion and lessons from rejection. Life is not always smooth, and rejection is an essential part of each of our journeys. However, instead of letting rejection defeat you, learn to see it as an opportunity to learn and grow. Buddha teaches that we cannot control what happens outside of us, but we can control how we respond to it. When you stop viewing rejection as failure and instead see it as a step closer to your goal, you will find peace and freedom in life. Remember that rejection is not the end, but part of the process. Each time you are rejected, you learn more, grow more, and move closer to the success you desire. When you learn to view rejection calmly, you will no longer fear or worry about things beyond your control. Instead, you will feel confident and stronger to continue walking your path. Lesson 5. Don't fear the opinions of others. In today's society, each of us lives in a community where everyone has the right to express their views and opinions about what we do, how we live, and even about who we are. Whether in work, relationships, or personal life, there are always judgments and comments from others that we cannot avoid. These opinions can greatly affect us, sometimes making us feel inferior, anxious, or even changing the way we live to please others. However, Buddhism teaches us that living too much based on the opinions of others will cause us to lose our true essence and prevent us from achieving inner peace. Instead of fearing others' opinions, we need to learn to live with self-control, confidence, and focus on what we truly believe and feel is right. 1. Society and the influence of opinions. Modern society, with the strong development of information technology and social media, has made it easier than ever to share opinions. A photo, video, or post can receive thousands, even millions of views and responses in seconds. Comments from others, whether positive or negative, can strongly impact our self-confidence. This is especially evident when we are young, as the desire for societal recognition or praise from others is something everyone desires. However, when we live too focused on others' opinions, we begin to lose the ability to make decisions for ourselves and live by standards set by others. This leads to us no longer being ourselves but becoming a version that others want. We become anxious, fearful of judgment and criticism, which can make us feel exhausted and directionless. 2. Buddhist teachings on self-control and confidence. Buddhism teaches that to attain peace of mind, we must learn to master ourselves and not let the opinions of others control our lives. The Buddha once said, "Happiness is not something that can be found from outside, but it is self-sufficiency and peace from within." This means that we need to find peace within ourselves, not from acceptance or praise from others. Buddha teaches us about self-control and confidence. Self-control in Buddhism is not only the ability to control actions but also the ability to control our thoughts and emotions. When we are confident in what we do and live according to our own values, we will not be influenced by others' opinions or criticism. Buddha teaches that each of us has the ability to free ourselves from worries about what others think, and this is the first step to achieving peace and happiness. 3. Opinions of others are their reflection, not yours. One of the important things Buddhism teaches us is to realize that the opinions of others about us are not the absolute truth about who we are. Each person has their own perspective, and what they say often only reflects their feelings, views, and life experiences, not the true value of who we are. When you are criticized or judged, it is a reflection of how others see you, not a reflection of who you are. For example, if someone says you're not good enough, not smart enough, or not good enough, it doesn't mean you have no value. They are only expressing their own perceptions based on what they know and have experienced. Only you can truly assess your own worth. Buddhism teaches that if you live to please others, you will always feel disappointed. You will never be able to please everyone because each person has their own standards and expectations. Learn to view yourself from within, assess yourself based on what you truly believe and feel is right, rather than relying on external recognition. 4. The fear of others' opinions and its consequences. When we fear the opinions of others, we easily change ourselves, doing things we don't really want to do just to please them. This can cause us to lose our personal identity, act against our true values, and feel stressed and exhausted. Gradually, we lose the ability to make our own decisions, and life becomes a series of choices that are not ours, but influenced by fear and anxiety about what others think. Buddhism encourages us to face this fear and overcome it by looking at things from a different perspective. When we understand that fear is just a temporary emotion and does not truly have the power to change who we are, we will feel freer and no longer be controlled by what others think about us. 5. How to overcome the fear of others' opinions. Buddha teaches that to overcome the fear of others' opinions, we need to practice mindfulness and letting go. Mindfulness is the practice of focusing on the present moment, helping us clearly understand our thoughts and emotions without being swept away by them. When we practice mindfulness, we will realize that the fear of others' opinions is simply an unfounded thought, and we can choose not to let it control our lives. Moreover, letting go is an essential part of this process. Buddha teaches us to learn to let go of unnecessary things, including worrying about what others think. When you let go of this fear, you will feel lighter and begin living a free life, not controlled by societal standards or expectations. 6. Evaluate yourself through personal values. One way to overcome the fear of others' opinions is to evaluate yourself based on your own personal values. This means you will no longer compare yourself to what others say about you, but will assess your worth based on what you truly believe in and what you do in life. Buddhism teaches that we can only find peace when we live true to our nature, when we do not live according to the expectations or impositions of others. You need to find your own values, live by them, and not let anyone change the path you have chosen. 7. Conclusion from this lesson. The fear of others' opinions is a natural feeling, but it should not dominate our lives. Buddha teaches that to attain peace and happiness, we must overcome this fear, live with confidence and self-control, and only care about what we truly believe and feel is right. When we live true to our own values, no longer fearing what others think, we will feel free, happy, and stronger than ever. Remember, you cannot please everyone. But you can please yourself by living true to yourself, living by the values you believe in. Don't let others' opinions take away your identity and inner peace. Lesson 6. Don't sacrifice your peace to please others. In life, we often face decisions where, to please others, we may have to sacrifice our own peace and happiness. From personal relationships, work, to social interactions, we sometimes feel pressured to live up to others' expectations, even changing ourselves to meet their desires. However, Buddhism teaches us that sacrificing our inner peace to please others not only leads to the loss of our freedom but also results in negative consequences in life. Instead of doing so, we need to learn how to protect our inner peace and put ourselves first. 1. Self-sacrifice in relationships with others. Living in a society, we are always confronted with the expectations of others. Parents expect us to achieve high accomplishments, friends want us to be present at special events, and colleagues hope that we go above and beyond to ensure the success of the shared work. These expectations can sometimes create great pressure, making us feel obligated to please others, even when it doesn't align with our true selves. Buddhism teaches that inner peace is the most important thing in life. When we sacrifice ourselves and endure things we don't truly want just to please others, we lose ourselves. This leads to feelings of unease, stress, and exhaustion. Living to please others not only leaves us dissatisfied but also strips us of self-control and inner strength. Buddha teaches that life is your own, and you have the right to choose your own path. Putting yourself first does not mean being selfish or indifferent to others. On the contrary, it is the way to maintain inner peace, enabling you to love and care for others truly from the heart. 2. Sacrificing peace to please others leads to exhaustion and disappointment. When we always place the interests of others above our own, we gradually feel exhausted and disappointed. You might dedicate your whole being to work, family, or social relationships, but if you don't take time to care for yourself, you will feel drained and empty. Sometimes, we get so caught up in trying to please others that we forget we also need care, love, and rest. Buddhism teaches that to achieve inner peace, we need to create balance in our lives. You cannot help others if you are not healthy, both physically and mentally. Sacrificing too much to please others will only make you feel tired and stressed. At that point, you will lose the ability to love others genuinely because you no longer have the love and care for yourself. 3. The feeling of lack and self-blame when sacrificing too much. One of the consequences of sacrificing ourselves to please others is the feeling of lack and self-blame. When you continuously do things you don't really want to do, you will feel that you have lost your identity and no longer recognize who you are. This feeling is even deeper when your sacrifices are not acknowledged or appreciated. You will feel disappointed and even angry with yourself for allowing others to dominate and overpower your emotions. Buddha teaches that every action in life should come from compassion and willingness. If you help others and don't feel joy or happiness, that help doesn't truly bring value to either you or the person receiving it. Sacrifice needs balance, and you must learn to say no when it's necessary to protect your inner peace. 4. Self-acceptance is the key to living freely. To live a free and happy life, you need to learn self-acceptance. This acceptance is not about settling for compromise or lack, but a comprehensive acceptance of who you are. Who you are, what strengths and weaknesses you have, and the ability to love and respect yourself as a complete person. When you learn to cherish yourself and are no longer influenced by the expectations of others, you will feel free and at peace. Buddha teaches, happiness comes from within, don't seek it outside. This means that happiness is not something you seek from others or from doing things to please them. Happiness comes from self-acceptance, from living a truly authentic life, and being at harmony with yourself. 5. Seeking peace through setting boundaries. One important way to protect peace is to learn to set boundaries. In personal relationships or work, knowing when to say no when necessary will help protect yourself from being coerced or overloaded. Buddha teaches that helping others doesn't mean sacrificing yourself or enduring hardships for them. Setting boundaries is not selfish, it is necessary to protect your mental and emotional well-being. When you learn to set boundaries, you will feel lighter and no longer feel restricted by the expectations of others. Knowing when to say no helps you maintain peace and live according to your own values. It also helps others understand that you have boundaries that need to be respected, and thus, relationships become healthier and more sustainable. 6. The benefits of protecting inner peace. When you know how to protect your inner peace, you will live a life free from being influenced by criticism or the expectations of others. You will learn to live according to what you believe in, without altering yourself to meet societal or familial expectations. Buddhism teaches us that inner peace is the most precious thing we can achieve. When you live in peace, you will experience true freedom and be able to help others genuinely, without feeling exhausted or harmed. When you know how to maintain peace, you will become an inspiration for others, helping them find peace in their own lives. This peace not only helps you live happily but also helps create positive and sustainable relationships, as you will no longer feel stress or pressure when interacting with others. 7. Conclusion and lessons from this lesson. Buddha teaches us that to live a peaceful life, we must protect our inner peace and not sacrifice it to please others. Self-sacrifice for others is not something Buddhism encourages, because when you sacrifice too much, you lose yourself. Learn to cherish yourself, set boundaries, and not let others' expectations dominate your life. When you live with self-control and confidence, you will feel happy and at peace. Always remember, your life is yours, and you have the right to decide what is best for you. You don't need to please everyone, but you must always please yourself first. Let inner peace guide you on your journey to happiness and freedom in life. Lesson 7. Only do what you can do. In life, we often feel pressured when we take on too many responsibilities, trying to do too many things to meet the expectations of others or ourselves. Especially in modern society, with the rapid development of technology and social media, we can easily feel that we have to always do better, faster, and more effectively. This leads to feelings of overwhelm, exhaustion, and confusion. However, Buddhism teaches us that, to achieve inner peace and long-lasting happiness, we need to accept our limitations and only do what we can, instead of trying to do everything without proper preparation or reasonable consideration. 1. Understanding your limits. In life, everyone has their own abilities and limitations. We cannot do everything, nor can we be an expert in all fields. Being aware of our own limitations is one of the key factors that help us live harmoniously and avoid pressure or disappointment. Buddha teaches that self-awareness helps us live genuinely and find tranquility in life. When you understand your limits, you will know when to stop, when to ask for help, and when to accept that you cannot do everything perfectly. This doesn't mean giving up or not trying your best, rather, it's about learning to live realistically and accepting that there are times when you cannot do everything to perfection. Buddhism doesn't encourage overworking or pushing beyond your limits excessively. Instead, Buddha teaches that each person should live harmoniously with themselves, do what they can, do it well, and learn to let go of what is beyond their reach. When you accept that you can't do everything, you will feel lighter, reduce stress, and focus on the things that truly matter to you. 2. Learning to say no and set boundaries. One of the reasons we often feel overwhelmed and exhausted is because we don't know how to say no. We often agree to do everything, whether it's work, requests from family, friends, or colleagues. However, taking on too many responsibilities can make us feel lost and leave us with no time for ourselves. Buddha teaches that, to attain peace, we need to know how to refuse things that don't align with our abilities. Saying no doesn't mean you are indifferent or selfish, it is a way to protect your mental and physical health. When you refuse requests that you cannot fulfill, you create space for more important tasks, helping you focus on what truly brings value and meaning to your life. Saying no is part of protecting yourself. Buddhism encourages us to live consciously and mindfully, not doing things beyond our capacity just out of kindness or fear of displeasing others. Sometimes, saying no is the best way for you to do better in the tasks you truly have the ability and passion for. 3. Don't compare yourself to others. One of the reasons we always feel like we have to do more and do better is because we constantly compare ourselves to others. Today's world is filled with images of success, wealth, and happiness through media and social networks, and we easily fall into the trap of comparison. We see others around us achieving great success and feel that we must do the same, achieve similar goals, even though each person has their own unique path and circumstances. Buddha teaches that comparing ourselves to others is one of the main causes of suffering and dissatisfaction. When you compare yourself to others, you not only lose your peace but also lose your own identity and value. Each person has their own journey, and the success of others doesn't mean your failure. Following others does not always bring happiness or fulfillment. Instead of comparing, Buddhism encourages us to focus on ourselves, understand our own abilities and goals, and create our own unique path that is in alignment with who we truly are. You don't need to do what others do what you can truly do and feel is right. 4. Focus on things you can do well. When you are aware of your limits and know how to say no to things you cannot do, you will be able to focus on the tasks you can do well. Buddha teaches that true success does not come from doing everything, but from doing well what you can do. Sometimes, perfection is not about doing everything flawlessly but about doing what you can in the best way possible. In life, there are many things you cannot control or do well, but there are things you can do excellently. Focusing on what you can do well will help you achieve true satisfaction and success. This doesn't mean you don't try to do other things well, but rather, you understand that it's perfectly fine not to do everything perfectly, and that's normal. 5. Accept that you can't do everything all the time. Buddha teaches that everything in life is impermanent, and nothing lasts forever. You cannot do everything at once and cannot always succeed in every area. Accepting that there are times when you won't be able to do everything or won't do it as well as you hoped helps reduce stress, anxiety, and allows you to live more freely. When you learn to accept your limitations, you will find it easier to forgive yourself when you can't complete everything. This doesn't mean you don't try, it means you understand that everyone has limitations and needs to respect those limits. Accepting imperfection is an important part of finding peace and happiness. 6. Develop patience and perseverance. When you only do what you can do and understand that you cannot do everything, you will also learn patience and perseverance. Buddha teaches that to achieve success and happiness, you need to be patient with yourself and with the process. Everything takes time to develop, and patience is the key to reaching your ultimate goal. Patience helps you face challenges without giving up. You will learn to accept difficulties and keep moving forward instead of feeling disappointed when things don't go as expected. Perseverance helps you complete the tasks you can do well and, in the end, achieve the results you want. 7. Conclusion and lessons from this lesson. Life is a long journey, and we cannot always do everything. Understanding your limits, learning to say no when necessary, and focusing on things you can do well will help reduce stress and lead a peaceful life. Buddha teaches that success does not come from doing everything perfectly, but from doing well what you can do. When you accept your limitations, you will find freedom and satisfaction within yourself. Focus on what you can truly do, and life will become much easier and more meaningful. Lesson 8. Realize that others are just focused on themselves. In life, we often feel that the people around us are paying excessive attention to us, especially in stressful situations or when we are facing difficulties. We may think that they are judging, criticizing, or trying to change us. However, in most cases, each person is only concerned with themselves and their own issues. Buddhism teaches us that we cannot live our lives just to please others or worry too much about what they think of us. Everyone has their own life and problems, and it is important that we focus on living authentically as ourselves. 1. The feeling of being observed and judged. One common feeling we often experience is the sense of being watched and judged by others. In modern society, with the development of social media and other forms of communication, we always feel like we are under constant scrutiny from those around us. We worry about how others will evaluate us, how their comments and words might affect us. This is especially true when we are in large crowds, where people tend to notice and pay attention to each other's actions. However, when we have such thoughts, we can easily fall into stress and insecurity. We feel that every action and every word we say is being scrutinized and judged. This prevents us from living freely and comfortably. In fact, Buddhism teaches that these worries about others' judgments are one of the main reasons we cannot achieve inner peace. Everyone has their own life and issues, and they do not have the time to focus on every small action of yours. 2. The truth, everyone is just concerned with themselves. What is important that Buddhism teaches is that, although we may feel that others are watching and judging us, the truth is they are busy with their own lives and personal issues. Everyone has their own goals, worries, and responsibilities to face. They do not have enough time and energy to pay attention to every detail of your life. Indeed, sometimes people around you may comment on you, but this is not something to worry about. These comments are not the absolute truth about you. They are simply a reflection of what others know and have experienced, and this is completely different from your true nature. We often tend to overthink about what others think of us. However, if we think carefully, we will realize that most people do not actually spend as much time thinking about us as we think. They are also facing their own worries, expectations, and personal lives. They have their own concerns, thoughts, and priorities. In reality, they do not have time to track and judge you. So, when we become aware of this, we will feel lighter and no longer be influenced by others' opinions. 3. Freedom comes from focusing on yourself. When we realize that others are also only concerned with themselves and not really paying attention to every detail of our lives, we begin to feel freer. Buddhism teaches that we cannot live our lives just to please others. If we only worry about what others think, we will not be able to live as we wish. Life will become stressful and exhausting when we cannot take control of ourselves. True freedom comes from living authentically with ourselves, doing what we love and believe in, without worrying about what others think. Buddha teaches that inner peace can only be achieved when we let go of worries about others' opinions and live true to our own values. When we learn to do this, life becomes lighter, and we will feel free in every action and decision. 4. Letting go of others' expectations. We often feel pressured by others' expectations, especially from family, friends, or society. They may expect us to achieve a certain level of success or follow certain rules and standards. However, if we live only to meet these expectations, we will lose ourselves and be unable to live the life we desire. Buddha teaches that peace and happiness come from living according to what we truly believe in and love, instead of just following others' expectations. We cannot change others, nor can we please everyone. Sometimes, others' expectations can make us feel stressed and restricted. However, when you learn to let go of these expectations and live your own life, you will feel much freer. Buddha teaches that living an authentic life is the only way to find lasting peace and happiness. 5. Developing confidence and independence. The realization that others are also just focused on themselves helps us develop confidence and independence. When you stop living for the acceptance of others, you will gradually develop the ability to be self-sufficient and make decisions for your own life. You will no longer worry about what others think when you do something. Instead, you will learn to listen to yourself, identify what you truly want, and follow what you believe is right. Buddha teaches that each person has their own path and mission in life. You do not need to live by others' standards or expectations. When you learn to live independently and confidently, you will find inner strength, which will help you overcome challenges and achieve what you want. You will no longer have to live and worry about what others think, and this will make you stronger and freer. 6. Don't let worry about others control your life. Living too much in worry about what others think can cause us to lose our freedom and peace. Buddha teaches that worry and stress only increase suffering and do not solve the problem. When you worry too much about others, you will not be able to focus on what matters most in your life. Remember that you cannot control the thoughts and actions of others. Everyone has the right to their own thoughts and opinions. Therefore, worrying about what they think only robs you of your freedom and affects the quality of your life. Instead, focus on what you can control: yourself, your thoughts, actions, and emotions. 7. Conclusion and lessons from self-awareness. When you realize that others are also just concerned with themselves, you will see that you can live freely and happily without worrying about what others think. Live your own life, do what you love and believe in, without living to please others. Don't let worry about others' opinions control your life. Buddha teaches that inner peace and happiness come from living authentically and with self-control, unaffected by others' expectations and judgments. Remember, your life is yours, and you have the right to decide your own path. Others may have their own thoughts and opinions, but that is no reason for you to lose your inner peace and happiness. Live freely, with compassion and confidence, and you will find true peace and happiness in your life. Now, we have listened to the Buddhist stories, and to gain a deeper understanding, the next part will share the lessons drawn from the above stories, self-acceptance and living freely. In the fast-paced modern life, filled with pressures from society, work, and relationships, learning to accept oneself has become more important than ever. Living freely, without being influenced by others' expectations and judgments, is the key to achieving inner peace and true happiness. We cannot live a fulfilling life if we are constantly under pressure, fearing what others think about us. To live freely, we need to learn to love and respect ourselves, accept all aspects of ourselves, from strengths to weaknesses, and not live to please others. The importance of self-acceptance. Self-acceptance does not mean complacency or stopping the effort to improve. In fact, self-acceptance is understanding and recognizing that you deserve love and respect, even if you have flaws or mistakes. Each of us has strengths and weaknesses, but the important thing is that we must learn to love ourselves with all of these. When you accept yourself, you no longer need validation or praise from others to feel valuable. You understand that your value does not depend on criticism or compliments from others, but comes from within yourself. Self-acceptance also helps you build confidence and peace because you no longer feel the need to change yourself to please others. Buddha teaches that happiness does not come from outside but from inner peace and tranquility. When you live with self-acceptance, you will find true freedom, as you are no longer bound by others' expectations or judgments. You will live true to yourself, and as a result, your life will become easier and more fulfilling. Letting go of worry about others' opinions. One of the factors that hinder us from living freely and peacefully is worrying about others' opinions. We often fear that others will judge us or feel pressure to please them. However, when we realize that everyone is busy with their own lives and doesn't have enough time to pay attention to our every move, we will feel more at ease and reduce stress. Buddha teaches that when we no longer worry about others' judgments, we will feel freer. Letting go of this worry doesn't mean we don't care about others, but it means we don't let their thoughts and feelings control us. We just need to live true to our values, do what we believe in, and love what we love, without needing to live to please others. Living true to your values. Living freely also means living true to your values. Everyone has their own beliefs, ideals, and goals, and we should not change ourselves to meet the expectations of society or others. Buddha teaches that true freedom comes only when we live according to the values we believe in, without being influenced by external expectations. When you live true to yourself, you will feel freedom and peace in your soul. You won't struggle with inner conflict about doing what others want. You will feel happy and proud because you are living a life that is truly your own, not someone else's. Accepting imperfection and progressing every day. An important part of self-acceptance is accepting our own imperfections. We often tend to blame ourselves when we make mistakes or don't achieve the goals we desire. However, the truth is, no one is perfect, and no one can always succeed in everything. Mistakes and failures are an essential part of each person's growth journey. Buddha teaches that failures are not the end, but opportunities to learn and grow. Imperfection does not mean you are not good enough. In fact, your flaws and mistakes are the elements that help you understand yourself better and continue to grow. You need to learn to accept your imperfections and view every mistake as an opportunity to progress. When you let go of expectations for perfection and accept yourself with all your flaws, you will feel lighter and more at ease as you move forward. Learning to love and care for yourself. Living freely also means learning to love and care for yourself. Buddha teaches that in order to help others, we must first take care of ourselves. You cannot love and care for others if you don't feel fulfilled and happy yourself. Therefore, taking care of yourself, both physically and mentally, is crucial to living a free and happy life. Loving yourself doesn't mean being selfish or arrogant. In fact, when you love yourself, you will be able to love others more sincerely. Taking care of yourself is also a way to maintain the health and energy needed for important things in life. When you live healthily, you will have the strength to face challenges and help those around you. Accepting change and progress. Life is constantly changing, and change is inevitable. Buddha teaches that we need to accept change and use it as an opportunity to grow. Changes in life may come from work, relationships, or unexpected situations. However, change is a part of life and helps us become more mature. When you accept change and approach it calmly, you will feel that you are not swept away by life's fluctuations but can control your response. You will no longer feel afraid to face new things, and instead, you will take the opportunity to learn and grow. Freedom in making decisions. One of the most important aspects of living freely is the ability to make decisions for yourself. When you accept yourself and live true to your values, you will no longer have to live according to others' directions. Buddha teaches that each person's life is determined by them. You have the right to choose your path and make decisions you believe are right. Freedom in making decisions doesn't mean doing everything without thought or not caring about others. In fact, it is the freedom to choose what is best for you and beneficial for yourself and those around you. When you can decide your life for yourself, you will feel free and more satisfied with the choices you make. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. I hope that through the shared lessons on self-acceptance and living freely, you will find useful insights to apply in your life. Remember that true freedom comes from living true to your own nature, loving and respecting yourself, and not allowing external judgments to dictate your life. I wish you all find peace and happiness in life. Live freely, live authentically, and love yourself. Thank you so much for watching this video.